Good morning, PT on Ice Daily Show. How are you? Happy Clinical Tuesday. I will be your host, Dr. Lindsay Huey. I'm lead faculty for extremity management, along with Dr. Mark Gallant and Dr. Eric Chaconas. So happy to be with you, as always, on a Clinical Tuesday. And today's topic is 24-hour pain monitoring, the autonomous access pass. Before I dive into what that means for our patients that we're managing with tendinopathy and what it means for us as clinicians, I'd love to just tell you about some courses that Mark and I have coming up. And so 2022, it is stocked from now until November. So Mark and I have a couple private courses at the end of this month. We can't wait to get back on the road. And then in March, both of us are doing a weekend in March 26th, 27th, and we'd either love to see you in North Platte or see you in Victor, New York. Um, North Platte is going to be a blast because I will have Megan Daly with me and Lauren from Onward Denver. So it's going to be quite a trifecta of gal pals there. We always have a really good time together. So I'd love to see you there. And then moving into spring, we have some courses in warm, sunny areas such as Santa Rosa, April 9th and 10th. I'll be there. Can't wait to explore wine country. And then Bradenton Beach is the next one in April 23, 24. And last time I was on here, I popped on and let you know that Melissa Reed will be teaching with me that weekend, which will be cool. One of the first times teaching together, and just having her CrossFit expertise on board will really be amazing. So if you're thinking about joining us in the spring, either one of those courses are going to be great and bountiful of sun. And then again, we just keep going. We have courses open to the public in May, July, August, September, October. I could just go through every month, but please check us out on ptonice.com. So today's topic, 24-hour pain monitoring, the autonomous access pass. So what do I mean by that? Pure rest for our patients with tendinopathy, it's never an option, right? A tendon needs load to improve and heal. And while we might choose modified rest, right, meaning we might modify or limit an aggravated activity for a time, but again, movement and load are necessary healers of tendons. And the way we'll monitor that healing and establish baseline and points of progression is through 24-hour pain monitoring. So let me unpack that for you. For those using in the clinic, this will just be a review. But for those that aren't quite instituting this with their patients yet, here it is. So we're going to go on that NPRS scale, 0 being no pain, 10 being worst pain imaginable, right? I want to go to the emergency room. But what we really want our patients in, so we think of that 0 to 10 a little bit differently with tendons. We think of it as a green light, yellow light, red light. Red light being anywhere from 6 to 10, yellow light being about 4 to 5, and then kind of the green light or green zone 0 to 3. And we tell our patients about this. And what we really want is our patients in that 4-5, that yellow region or that Goldilocks zone or sweet spot load zone, I like to call it, because that tendon, we need some elicitation of symptoms. The only time that's not really true, where we keep them in that 0 to 3, is someone with high irritability, right? That flares up quickly and symptoms last for a long time, or maybe it's unpredictable stability, and we really want to keep them in that green zone purposely. But that Goldilocks zone is like 4 to 5. And the other part of this 24-hour pain monitoring is not just the NPRS. We actually want to tell our patients that response is normal within sessions, staying, depending on what we pick, anywhere from that 0 to 5, and then for the next 24 hours. So our patients have to take the time to monitor their symptoms over the next 24 hours. And they cannot exceed that 5, because if we do, that is a sign of overdosage. If a patient, the other extreme of that is if a patient, the exercise is very easy, there when you're doing it in session, there are no elicitation of symptoms, right? There's really 0 out of 10 symptoms. We probably, and then for the next 24 hours, again, they're moving, feeling great, no symptoms, no achiness, they are probably in an underdose region. And the next time you see them, it's time to progress. So patients are told about this, and you're tailoring this obviously specific to activities that are important to that patient, and you're letting them know what activities to pay attention to, and especially as the Therex that you prescribe for home. The other part of like the extreme other end, that red zone, say you've done a new exercise in the clinic, say it's Achilles tendinopathy, and you decided to do eccentric heel raises off of a step plus a load. And the patient's doing okay. They're at like a 4 out of 5 in your session, but you let them know the next 24 hours, Gladys, I want you to monitor this. And if you're to spike past that 5, we did a bit too much, right? So letting them and you know how much load is too much. So that overdosage load. So you're going to have that patient monitor to make sure pain hasn't spiked. And in addition, there's been no loss of range of motion or function. So this scale, you have to really take the time to break down to the patient. Why is this so important? And really, what does this enable our patients to do? And this is something, if you've been to our extremity management course, you're like, Lindsay, I know this. I got this, which is amazing. I'm so happy for everyone that's using this 24-hour pain monitoring scale in their clinic with those with tendinopathy. But it is a must to teaching the patient. And we teach it every weekend at Extremity, and I just found myself reflecting on why is it so effective, and why is it actually really important that we do this? And so I just want to illuminate, 3 things that kind of came to mind as I was reflecting on why it's so important. It does 3 main things. It gives the patient autonomy, confidence, and a progress pathway. I'm going to unpack each one of those just a little bit, but the patients are there, right, to improve their quality of life. And, as PTs, that's why we became PTs, to help with patients improving their quality of life, keeping them active in what's important to them, and keeping their life meaningful and purposeful, right? Someone that is in pain, especially the athletes we're seeing that have tendinopathy, they don't want to hear rest. They don't want to hear take off, don't do any activity, right? And so let's unpack the first one, autonomy. Using that 24 pain monitoring allows an opportunity for understanding first that pain doesn't equal harm, right? It lets the patient know that they're in control of their body. And if they can really follow and observe their body through that 24-hour pain monitoring, they'll really have a lot of kind of control in response. And whether that is regressing some activity because they've kind of spiked up to that 6 out of 10, or giving them the autonomy to come to you next session and say, hey, doc, I feel really good. I was like a 3-4 for 24 hours. I'm ready to increase the dosage, the load, or maybe the excursion. Maybe they're just doing toe raises, someone that has Achilles tendinopathy, and you've just been doing it from the ground, but now they're ready to go through full range off a step. So this control, we cannot take this lightly. Giving patients autonomy to understand their body's response to movement, and their ability to kind of guide you in regression, progression, and or just staying at the same place, right? Maybe you're at that sweet spot dosage. You're at that 4-5. Symptoms don't linger past 24 hours, and you can just stay right where you are for a bit without any flare-ups. And then this has kind of an underlying benefit for the clinician too, for that patient that's not real clear on that first visit in their subjective about their ags and eases. And you've asked as many open-ended and closed-ended questions as possible to really nail down the ags and eases, and you're still not quite sure. This gives an opportunity for you, for the patient to have some autonomy then to be like, doc, these are the things that bothered me. This is what the symptoms it caused. This was the result. And so you're kind of really charging them to dial in ags and eases. So 1 is autonomy. 2, confidence. The 24-hour pain monitoring gives an established baseline in the present. And this really breeds confidence in the patients to know what they can and can't do for a time, right? We always want to promote them to full return to what's important to them. But I like to add that for time, right? Patients don't want to ever hear, I can never do this again. So that established baseline It allows that patient to be confident where they are and then where they're headed. And so this really, when the patient sees this working and they see that they're able to do more in their sport, it breeds confidence not only in the patient themselves, but in you as that provider, because they're like, wow, like Lindsay was right. This actually does work. And even if it's a flare up, say it's someone with patellar tendinopathy that you've progressed to Spanish squats, loaded it up. They were doing pretty well, but then like they spiked past the 24 hours, but you did your due diligence and you said, you know what, Gladys, if this spikes up, she also has patellar tendinopathy, not just Achilles tendinopathy. If this spikes up, Gladys, you can do some isometrics, 45-second hold, 5 times. So the patient also has a way, a confident way to reduce symptoms if they flare up as well, because you've given them this pain monitoring system and then you've given them plans of if this is to increase symptoms, you will regress. If you're feeling good, you're going to stay right here. And if you're not really feeling anything, next time I see you, Gladys, we're going to increase your dosage to keep you progressing towards your goals. And so the patient leaves your clinic every time knowing, I know what I can do, and I know the parameters of what would indicate this is too much or not enough. 2, so we have autonomy, we have confidence on board, and now 3, that progress pathway, a way for the patients to progress. They know a plan is in sight. We have to take a step back and remember that when we're treating tendinopathy, it is not a quick fix, right? At a minimum, we're seeing patients for 3 months, right? 12 weeks. And at a maximum, probably over a year for someone that's come to you and tendinopathy has been on board for a while. You're in it for the long haul, and they really need some key markers for progress. And so, giving them that 24-hour pain monitoring plus the ability to know how to progress and to know when to regress when symptoms are flared, that the patient can literally have the thought, let's think again back to Achilles tendinopathy. I know when I feel minimal symptoms in my heel that I'll be able to progress to eccentrics off the step. And then when that's feeling good, I'm going to be able to add weight. Then I'm going to be able to add jumping, right? Energy storage and release. And then I'm really going to get back to executing my sport really well, right? And so there's these gold nuggets and posts that you can give to the patient to monitor their own progress and know where they're headed. Ultimately, as I stated earlier, their patients are coming to us because they want to get back to doing what they love pain-free, right? They want to enjoy their life fully. This is a partnership. This 24-hour pain monitoring breeds a lot of collaboration between you as the clinician and the patient. It's this beautiful opportunity, this gift to give 24-hour pain monitoring that delivers the tools of autonomy, confidence, and a progress pathway. If you are not already using the 24-hour pain monitoring, all access, autonomous access pass for your patients, please start when you're managing tendinopathy. And if you care to learn more in how we manage humans with tendinopathy, please come to an extremity management course in 2022. Have a beautiful clinical Tuesday, everyone. Happy Tuesday.